The Acolyte Season 1 finished airing a couple weeks ago and the reviews were pretty mixed. I can't believe this show has people so upset. Anyway, here are my top 5 best moments from The Acolyte Season 1 because in my opinion this show was pretty cool. This video will obviously contain big spoilers for The Acolyte Season 1. At number 5 we have Master Indara and May's fight. Episode 1 of The Acolyte begins with May showing up to a noodle shop and picking a fight with some woman who we later learn is Jedi Master Indara.
Attack me, Jedi.
Jedi do not attack the unarmed.
This scene made it onto my top 5 list because it was such a dramatic opener for the show, and of course, May does end up killing Master Indara with a single knife to the chest. From what we know, or we presume, the Jedi were supposed to be a very strong and sort of unstoppable force in the era of the High Republic. Yet our first look at a Jedi in this era is one of them being bested by some girl with a knife. Obviously later on we learn how strong May is, but I still think this was a really cool opener for the show.
Let me see what you have!
No!
At number 4, I have the Stranger's first appearance. Kyber being revealed as the Stranger wasn't really that much of a shocker to me. I kind of saw it coming and I feel like a lot of other people did as well. I read that the showrunner Leslie Headland actually said that she presumed that people would have figured it out by then. However, the scene where Kyber first appears in front of the Jedi and sort of floats down behind Osha like all creepy, it felt different from the other villain reveals we've had in Star Wars so far, and although Kyber's vibe was pretty familiar with the whole cape and cloak thing, he just gave off a really creepy vibe in this scene, which I loved. The weird teeth helmet also probably contributed to that. Number 3, the Jedi vs. Kyber. Not many scenes in Star Wars have had me on the edge of my seat like this one did. We're just watching Jedi being slaughtered. Linking back to what I said earlier about the Jedi being this sort of mighty, powerful force in the era of the High Republic, as far as we know, watching this massacre was just insane. These Jedi are really no match for the Stranger, and basically just get their asses handed to them. This was the moment that you realize that the Jedi are pretty much out of their depth, and that they were completely blind to this guy sort of rising in the darkness as an evil force, just as they were blind to Palpatine's duality as a Sith in the next era. We also see the Stranger's Cortosis helmet in action. He literally headbutts the Jedi's lightsabers, which causes the lightsabers to shut down. It's something to do with Cortosis being able to redirect a lightsaber's energy back into itself, causing the lightsaber to shut down. I thought that was pretty cool. Number 2, Jackie and Yord's death. Rest in peace. Not gonna lie, I was a fool and I went on Twitter before seeing this episode and I saw a spoiler for this. So Jackie and Yord's death wasn't as big of a shock as it should have been for me personally. It was still an insane moment. I just couldn't believe they'd killed off 2 of the main characters on episode 5. If you're on Star Wars Twitter, then you'll know that by episode 5, a lot of the fans had become very attached to Jackie and Yord. They were sort of fan favorites by this point.
Yord, put your clothes on.
So these deaths were pretty brutal. Not even just emotionally brutal, like the way that these characters died was physically brutal as well. The showrunner Leslie Headland explained that it was always the plan to kill them in episode 5 halfway through the season. This was brutal, like I said, but I feel like it was necessary to show the severity of the situation that the Jedi were in at the time. And it's definitely refreshing to see a show that isn't afraid to kill off its main characters.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Number 1, the Kyber crystal bleeding. This scene was just so cool. I think this was the first time we've ever seen Kyber crystal bleeding in a live action show. We've seen this concept before in the comics and the game Jedi Fallen... Jedi Survivor. That's what it's called. But this scene from The Acolyte is definitely the coolest and clearest depiction of the Kyber crystal bleeding we've had so far. If you're unfamiliar with the concept of Kyber crystal bleeding, here's a quote from Darth Sidious himself. I'm not gonna do the voice, I'm sorry. Wait, I have a friend that can do the voice. Let me get him to read it.
First, they must seize a pure crystal from the lightsaber of a Jedi they have vanquished in combat. For the saber of a Sith is not given, it is taken. They must infuse that crystal with their pain, anger, and hatred, bending it to their will. This corrupts the crystal, aligning it with the dark side.
This quote is from Star Wars The Secrets of the Sith. We do actually see Osha coming into physical contact with her hand and the Kyber crystal. I know a lot of people were saying that, why didn't Anakin bleed his crystal so quickly in Revenge of the Sith? Because his lightsaber stayed blue for a long time, even while he was killing the younglings. But Osha actually came into physical contact with the crystal, so this might explain why the crystal was bled so quickly.
Do you think this sword goes with my outfit? No.
The next video I'll be uploading to this channel will be my top 5 question mark moments of The Acolyte Season 1. Moments that weren't necessarily bad, but just left me a little confused. Before anyone comments why are you calling it The Acolyte Season 1 when Season 2 hasn't even been confirmed yet, if The Acolyte is reviewed for a second season, I'll probably end up making this same video for The Acolyte Season 2. Referring to Season 1 in this video will hopefully stop any confusion when I eventually make this same video for the second season. If there is a second season. Let me know in the comments what your favorite moment of The Acolyte Season 1 was, and don't say when it ended. I know some of you will. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel to catch my next video. See you next time!